What's up, man? Say, man, I'm finna hit y'all with some game, man. I'm finna hit y'all with some real penitentiary game this morning. Y'all see this? You boys don't know what this is, huh? To you boys out here on the streets, this is just a napkin. Just something you wipe your mouth off with. You know what I'm saying? You wipe your hands off with when you get through eating. But to them boys in the penitentiary, you know what this is to them boys in the penitentiary? This is a blunt papers to boys in the penitentiary. This what we smoke our weed out of. All you gotta do is dip this thing in some coffee, let it sit, let it dry, and cut it in the papers and roll it up, and you got your blunts. This was our blunt papers right here. And they used to have white papers in the system when the system used to sell cigarettes. They used to sell cigarettes in Black and Mild in the system. But in 2005, they stopped selling cigarettes in Black and Mild. So boys didn't have nothing to smoke their weed out of because they used to get papers from dudes. Anytime I had some weed or whatever, and I had homeboys that smoked cigarettes, they would have extra papers just laying around. So I'd go to them, hey, man, let me get a paper, man, let me get a paper. They give me a paper. But when they stopped selling them in the system, there wasn't no more papers around. And every now and then, when they would smoke cigarettes into the system, you know, they might have some extra papers or whatever. And what they did with the extra papers, they turned them into a hustle. So dudes would have stacks of papers, and they would be slanging them. A paper would go for a stamp. And the stamp in the penitentiary equals up to 50 cents. So you paying 50 cents for a paper. And that was them boys' hustle. Man, boy had about 10 stacks of paper for 50 cents. Boy, that's money. But when it got dry, we didn't really have nothing to smoke out of. So we started using this. Some dudes came up with a hustle to dip it, let it dry, and then they started selling blunt papers for a stamp. These napkins, you didn't even have to have no money to start your business, start your blunt paper business, because the system give these away. So some smart motherfucker got him a whole stack of these, bought him some coffee, and started dipping them. And when he would come out on the rec yard, he'd have them already cut in the blunt papers. This is where the boys, in the morning time, boys go to the rec yard and they smoke. And they be looking for papers. And you have dudes out there just sitting around slanging these as blunt papers, making money. And they didn't have to have a dime to start their blunt paper hustle. That's the type of hustles they be having in that penitentiary. That's the good thing about it, man. Some of the hustles that they have in the penitentiary, you don't have to have a dime to start your business, man. And this was one of them hustles. All you got to do is get you a stack of these and buy you some coffee. Coffee costs about $2. Go to commissary, $2, get you some coffee, and dip these, and you can make money selling blunt papers all day, every day. All you got to do is post up on the rec yard. Boys be out on the rec yard all day long, and you slang these blunt papers. Because boys are smoking all day long. They're getting it in. And these napkins are going like hotcakes in the penitentiary. Can y'all imagine smoking these all day? This is the blunt papers in the penitentiary, man. And if you didn't smoke, you could just hustle these. I've seen dudes make so much money off of hustling these. And I'm going to give you an example. Just say if I want to roll a joint, I hit it, break it, fold it, lick it, Y'all see I'm a professional. Y'all know I used to do this shit. This my blunt paper right here. Take it, roll it up, roll into a blunt. This is what I used to do every day. I didn't even have to buy no papers unless I just, you know what I'm saying, just wanted to support somebody's hustle. I roll that thing up like that. I have some honey in my locker. Put a little honey on that thing. Let that thing sit on the table about 5 minutes. Then I find them up in the game. This the blunt papers in the penitentiary, man. All you got to do is have you some of these. This hustle don't cost nothing, man. The penitentiary giving these away, man. You can hustle these and eat in the penitentiary, man. All you need is some napkins in that penitentiary and you can eat. This our boys scratching up in there, man. They scratching off of everything. They scratching off of everything. You boys out here, you would never think that you could make some money in that penitentiary off a napkin. Man, you can eat good off a napkin. Just imagine if you had a whole stack of these and you cut them into this and sell these for a stamp a piece. Once you get 20 stamps, that's a whole book. And you can sell that whole book for $7. If you accumulate 100 books of stamps, that's $700. You can accumulate $700 off of these napkins, man. And you ain't spent a dime to get the $700. This how boys is hustling up in there. Just say I'm broke. I'm broke. Okay, I'm broke. Okay, I'm going to go get me a stack of napkins that the federal system give me. I ain't got to pay a dime for them. The federal system gonna give me these. A whole roll of a whole stack. And I take that whole stack and that whole roll and dip them in some coffee and let it dry. You know how much money I can make off of that? Man, I can make thousands of dollars off of this napkin, man. Dipping it in coffee, cutting it up like this, and slanging them for a stamp a piece. And every time I get 20 stamps, I can sell them for $7. And if I stack up 100 books of stamps, I got $700. Every time I get 100 books of stamps, I got $700 off of these napkins right here. That's how boys getting down off in there, man. Boys getting down. Boys getting money off of this, man. Off of this right here. I ain't spending a dime. I ain't spending a dime. Ain't got to have no re-up money, no nothing. Once you get you a roll of these, you going to take off. And you ain't never got to spend no money to re-up. That's what's so cold about it. You ain't got to spend no money to re-up. Once you get this and they give it to you, you don't have to re-up. You can just keep it going. But on the flip side, the game got so cold up in there, man. Niggas started catching charges for having blunt papers, for making blunt papers. Once the people caught on that a nigga was taking these and dipping them in coffee and hustling, oh, the police was on you. Now they looking for the blunt papers. And if you get caught with these blunt papers, they gonna write you an incident report. You're gonna lose your commissary. You might lose your phone. You might go to the hole. That's the risk you gotta take. It's always a risk and it's always a reward when you're hustling. But boy, when you're hungry, you're gonna take that risk to get that reward, and you'll go sit in the hole 30 days and come right back out and grab you some more papers and keep it going, nigga. That's what it is in that penitentiary.